Jeff Hardy was back in the news this week, and whenever you hear that, you kind of hold your breath because it could be a good thing, but more than likely than not, it's probably a very bad thing. Unfortunately, this time, it was a bad thing. TMZ reported that Hardy was arrested and booked on Saturday for public intoxication and impairment in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. There's no word yet on exactly what led to the arrest, but he was released very shortly thereafter. He paid, I think it was a $153 fine. According to PW Insider, that's standard. In Myrtle Beach it is, anyway. That's standard for first-time offenders. He also will not be required to appear in court unless he wants to contest the charge. So him paying the fine may well just be the end of this. So it doesn't sound like a big deal, but here's the thing. If you get arrested for public intoxication, you've got to be probably bombed out of your mind. And with his history of substance abuse problems, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. The last time he was arrested was just last year, March 10th, for DWI, after he crashed his car. He paid a $300 fine for that, and he had to do community service. WWE issued a statement to PW Insider, very similar to the one they put out the last time there was an incident, if you remember, with Jimmy Uso and Naomi being pulled over, and Jimmy was in the passenger seat, and he was all intoxicated, inebriated, whatever. WWE put a statement out saying Jeff Hardy is responsible for his own personal actions. And that's it. That was the statement. Jeff has been out since April. He had to undergo knee surgery. They had just won the SmackDown Tag Team titles, him and Matt, and immediately they were forced to vacate them. I think it might have been the week after. I don't think they defended them one time. They had to vacate the championships. I had just seen a report this week that Jeff was progressing very nicely, and in fact, he may have even been ahead of schedule with the rehab on his knee. Supposed to be out probably 6 to 9 months, and supposedly he is or was ahead of schedule and doing very well as far as the injury goes. And now this. And now you hear about this. The only thing I could say is, thankfully he wasn't behind the wheel of his car like he was last year, and even last year it was a one-car accident. Hey, thankfully he wasn't behind the wheel. His brother, when Matt was at his worst, he was just nearly at rock bottom. This is going back many years, probably 7 or 8 years now. And I talked a lot about the Matt Hardy stuff on the podcast because it just felt like he was getting popped for DUI or DWI every other week. Every other week on the Sound Off, I was talking about Matt Hardy getting arrested again. And he put a lot of other lives at risk, not just his own. And it's good to see how he has gotten his life in order and seems to be doing very well. I hope Jeff Hardy can do the same. And I know we don't have all the details yet, and they may treat this thing down there like a speeding ticket. Oh, it's not a big deal. But I also know this. I also know that for all the times that, I would get drunk when I went out, or friends of mine, people go out on a weekend, they go out drinking, they have one too many. Nobody I know ever got their mugshot taken at the end of the night. Jeff Hardy has had his mugshot taken now how many times? 3? Probably 3 or 4 different times over the years. And not always for alcohol. That's not normal. That's not normal. If they have to take you in to get your picture taken, you're doing something wrong with your life. Guy's got 2 kids now, 2 young kids. If he can't go out and drink without getting arrested at the end of the night, then he shouldn't be drinking. Especially when his employer now is forced to have to put a statement out distancing themselves from this person. Oh, I'm sure WWE just loves that publicity, having to put out statements like this. It's not worth losing your job over. It's not worth losing your life, but it's not worth losing your job. So I hope he gets his head on straight.